Harry Potter characters, and it's just characters on the books. So I made that distinction as like some of the book characters did not get a lot of shot in the movie, so I thought if I make it book characters, then everyone gets a fair shot for this list. So, and I've got a good panel. I've got a couple of people who haven't been on Mankin before. So I'll go introduce them first. First up, I've got Dan Allen. Dan, how are you going there?
I am doing great. I am a huge Harry Potter fan. I know I don't talk a lot about Harry Potter. I read all the books 4 times each. So I have a very good, extensive list of characters I think should be on here. We'll see how these guys do, because that could put a damper on my list.
Yeah, I mean, I've probably got some that's going to be just the same as well. Also, new to Rankin, I would have had him on my horror movie episode, but I couldn't put. That was one time I couldn't put it. But we've got Brian Fernandez. Brian, how's it going?
I'm doing awesome, Malcolm. Really doing good. Excited to be here talking about my favorite franchise of all time. Second would be Star Wars, but that's a completely different conversation. So, I love Harry Potter so much that it's the one kind of movies that I will watch every single day if I'm ever feeling down or anything. So, Harry Potter will always cheer me up.
Totally, and just a thing for the poll, I might actually put movie franchises on the poll for, for next week. So,
Nice.
and also, returning, I think I can't remember. I think I've had you on before. I've got Hunter. Hunter, how's it going?
You have had me on before. That was Marvel Villains, I believe, and I am exceptional talking about one of as they say, one of my favorite franchises. I grew up watching the movies, and I'm just now getting into the books. I'm on book 5, and it is so good. You guys can see the house right there next to Star Wars. So I'm ready to do this.
And last but not least, I've got Cody Newberry here. Cody, how's it going?
Oh, tonight is a great night. Harry Potter is the thing that got me into reading. It was a thing that was put on by my 4th grade that we got points for reading, and Harry Potter was the first thing, and it carried me through. The night will go great as long as everybody agrees with my picks. If they go against it, then this will be a very bad night, and I will be quite upset very fast. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few lists there that I'll probably be upset if don't make it in, but I mean, I've got a long list, because I mean, there's over hundreds of characters in the books, and to narrow it all down to 12, it's not going to be easy, that's for sure. As always, like, just in case people out there don't know how the show works, basically we all nominate a character and then we all vote on if we think they belong on this list. And we've all got a save rule. So, for example, say someone throws up Vernon Dursley. If only one other person thinks it should be on and the other 3 say no, then they can save, and then that changes one of the no votes to a yes, which will make him get on. But he's not on my list, so we probably don't worry about Vernon making it on. But, yeah.
Don't hate. Don't hate.
But anyway, to kick it off, I'm going to throw it to the first person on the left, and that's Brian. Brian, who's your first pick to come up?
Okay. My first pick has been a very important character in the series, in the franchise. Everybody loved to hate him, but then eventually winds up having a heart, and you get to find out, his true intentions, and it's Severus Snape. So, Snape, and if you guys remember in Deathly Hallows Part 2, in the book, spoiler alert for Hunter if you have not read the book, but we all have seen the movies. We find out that he had, was protecting Harry all along. And just the way that he was protecting him, movie after movie, book after book after book, it was just, you grew to like care about him more and more. And then once the final payoff comes up, you're a wreck. So Professor Snape is my number one pick.
And somewhere out there, Kristen Smith is screaming in happiness. But
I hope she is.
Cody, what do you think about Snape?
Okay, so it's clear Snape is my favorite character in the book. He has, I will argue to this day in the books, he has the most incredible arc of everything, because people don't. A lot of people, even when you read it, you didn't understand what he was doing most of the time until near the end. And I honestly believe that this is a character that I loved in the books but got better in the movies, actually, because I don't believe he was best written near the beginning. He was a little very annoying. But there's a line in the book that always gets me is it's Dumbledore and Snape talking, and it's basically, and they do it so well in the movie too. It's when he says, "Do you understand that I do? Have you ever thought that I don't want to do this?" And most people that you see it or raid with, they always say that they thought it was protecting Harry, but it was mainly how close he was with Dumbledore, and he didn't want to have to take Dumbledore's life. So it always kills me. Everybody always goes back to like Deathly Hallows Part 2 and stuff when you finally see all the stuff about him and Lily and stuff like that. And but that's the part in Half-Blood Prince that is by far one of the most heartbreaking moments. And if Snape didn't make this list, then I don't understand what people are thinking.
Yep.
So I'm guessing that's a yes then. But
yes, sorry, that would have been my first. That would have been my first nomination. So he stole it, but I had to beat it out. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dan, what do you think about Snape?
Wow, it's a miracle that Brian and I agree on something, and apparently Cody and I, besides the Red Sox, agree on something as well. Severus Snape is my favorite character in the books. I absolutely love this character. The portrayal of Alan Rickman in the movies, perfect casting. A little story you might not know about this character. J.K. Rowling actually modeled this character after an old boyfriend of hers, and she wanted to see her old boyfriend get redemption in these storylines. So she puts a lot of her family members and people that she knows in her life into these books as characters. You don't know who they are, but this one was one of the ones that she really felt strongly about. And I'll tell you what, Severus Snape had his arc on this in these books are, incredible. Incredible. It's just, it's amazing. So it's a huge yes for me. I definitely want Severus Snape in this list.
Well, that's official. Snape has made the list. Hunter, what would you have said?
Oh, of course. Yes, Snape is one of my favorite characters. Granted, I haven't finished the books yet. I know him from the movies, and in the movies, Alan Rickman plays him so well. But in the books, his overarching storyline in the 5th book is getting really, really, really good. I can't wait to finish it up and see where it ends.
Yeah, and for me, it would have been yes as well. Snape is probably one of the quintessential characters when it comes to Harry Potter's. Like, he's one that you love to hate from the first book, and yeah, it's just one of those ones which always resonates, and even in the movies, Alan Rickman played it perfectly. Rest in peace, Alan. So so throw it over to.
Just big about Snape. He has a better arc than Harry in the books. I'm just throwing it out there right now. Harry starts at the same level pretty much and just gets better with his courage. But Snape overall, it could have literally switched to his series because that's how iconic his role switched.
Well, so I'm seeing the cameras on you, Cody. But, you can have the next pick.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I said this in the chat. If we did movies, this character actually wouldn't make my list. But since we're doing books, this guy absolutely makes my list, and that is Tom Riddle / Voldemort. Voldemort
Ooh.
and Tom Riddle in the book is 10 times more intimidating and scary than he ever was in the movie. People in the movie, especially when you go and see it, people wanted him to show up. They wanted to see it because that was the antagonist. That was the battle between them. But like in the books, especially when it kicks off in the fourth and goes on, everybody says, I think mostly, I don't know, people always have their rankings different, but Goblet of Fire doesn't rank as everybody's top favorite Harry Potter movie. And I think it's basically for this because I almost laughed out loud when Voldemort entered because he made like such a grand Broadway production. But in the book, like I remember like reading each page like, whoa, this dude, he's here. He's here. So I have to put Tom Riddle, especially in Chamber of Secrets, and then how he progresses and does way better in the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 than he ever does in the movie. That's my vote.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just go ahead and go next. Yeah, Voldemort was on my list, and it's a yes for me because I mean, and I do agree with you, Cody. Like Voldemort is a lot more scarier in the books than he was, and I mean his whole in the movies did it get annoying at times, but in saying that, I did like Ray Fiennes as Voldemort. It was good casting, and I mean,
I
for
think
me,
it was screenwriting.
yeah.
I think it was the script on Voldemort's part, not on Ray Fiennes. I think he did what he best he could do.
And I mean, for me, for Goblet, the only reason I don't like it is not because of that scene. It's more, it just seemed to rush everything all through the movie. It's just they tried to push one book into that one movie. It just didn't work. Anyway, Brian, do you say yes to Voldemort?
Yes, I did. Yes, I do. And I agree with Cody. You know, he was a lot more of an intimidating presence throughout the entire books on, you know, and yes, while the movies does make him look, you know, like a little bit of a clown per se, the real intensity of Voldemort comes out it mainly comes out through the fight with Dumbledore in Order of the Phoenix when they're having the like the wand battle against each other. You could just see, you know, once you're reading like the pages, it's just the intensity is there from Voldemort, and his intentions are clear, you know, and that's what makes him so damn terrifying to even want to like look on the screen. But then when you see him on the screen, it's a little bit of like, it's not the way that I pictured him from the books. It's a little bit more of like a lighthearted version of Voldemort in the movies than it is of like a darker, you know, more gritty version of him that we all wanted to, you know, that we all imagined. So yes, Tom Riddle / Voldemort definitely makes it on the list.
And with that vote, he does make it on the list. Dan, what would you have said to Voldemort?
I'll tell you what. This is a tough one for me because I absolutely do love the character of Tom Riddle / Voldemort in the books, and I do like Ralph Fiennes' portrayal of him. It's probably the role that people are gonna know who Ralph Fiennes is. But I have so many other picks that I would have liked to have had on the list besides Voldemort. I don't think he's as fleshed out of a character in the books as some other characters that I like or characters that are more interesting to me. He's the mustache twirling villain that we all know that every major kind of Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, they all have to have that. So he's kind of you have to have a Voldemort type character, and I just don't think the character was that fleshed out for me. As far as obviously Harry needed a bad guy to go up against. He had to overcome these odds, and I feel like he was a very character that you needed for those purposes. But I wouldn't have voted him on the list. But it doesn't matter because you guys voted him on.
It looks like Cody has something to say.
Fleshed out, they're connected. Harry and Tom are connected through the entire story. Don't need to be fleshed out. They're literally intertwined. And they have to. It's not that they chose to. He tried to kill a child, and it haunted him and killed him. He brought back, and he still couldn't get the job done. But that's more than a mustache twirling. This guy literally haunts Harry. Disrespectful. I'm done.
Can I just say one thing? That was the inner John Schnepp and Cody coming out. Just
Yes, it was.
It was just, at first I was like, I get it. Tom's not that great. Voldemort has those moments, but then when he's like not fleshed out, I'm like, what? Okay, go ahead. I respect Dan. I just don't disagree with that argument, but we're good.
Hunter, what would you have said?
Going back to what Cody said about everybody thinking that Goblet of Fire was their least favorite Harry Potter movie, it's my second favorite. So I absolutely love that movie. But yeah, he made it on my list. You got to have Voldemort on the Harry Potter list, without a doubt.
Thanks, guys.
I'm going to throw it over to Dan next. Dan, what's your first pick going to be?
Well, somebody already picked my first pick, Severus Snape, so now I get to go to my second pick. And my second pick is a gentleman who had two actors portray him in the movies, Richard Harris and Michael Gambon, and that's Albus Dumbledore. Albus Dumbledore is such an amazing, incredible character. I think one of the greatest literary characters in the history of books. Period. Albus Dumbledore is, the times where he had to be Harry's friend, and then the times where he had to pretend like he wasn't Harry's friend, and to die and to do the things that he had to do to save Harry's life and make sure Harry had the legacy that he needed to have, and just so many different aspects to this character, and they're just I absolutely love Albus Dumbledore, and I love the portrayal by both of the actors in the movies, especially Michael Gambon. But Richard Harris is an all-time great, in my opinion. So Albus Dumbledore.
Cody, what do you have to say about Albus Dumbledore?
Well, Dan, yeah, you let me down with your Voldemort comeback, but you made it clear to recover yourself with Dumbledore. Going into this list, I had three main ones, especially from either movie or that I think that are big names that have to be on this list. It was Snape, it was Dumbledore, and it was Voldemort. So Dumbledore, not only saying that the connection between Harry and Voldemort is so strong in that, but the connection between Harry and Dumbledore is so... That's a thing about these books, and it's nothing against Harry, but his supporting cast is so strong that you like them more than the person that's guiding the journey. And I think without a strongly written Dumbledore, this entire book crumbles and doesn't make it past the second book, because he has such a strong, especially onward. Because he gets these characters. Snape gets a stronger thing further in the books. Dumbledore gets way more in the further books. But honestly, Dumbledore is that linchpin of this that I think makes this entire story move forward. So I loved him in the movie, but in the book, I think I loved him even more because they gave him more to do in the problem with these. Each book got bigger near the end, and the movies got same length near the end. So you couldn't delve into them as much as... So Dumbledore has way better in from 4 on than he does in the movie. So in the books, absolutely, he makes the list.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely true. Hunter, what do you say about Dumbledore?
Oh, Dumbledore made the list for me. He, as they point out, he's pretty much the guiding light for Harry.
Mm-hmm.
He is pointing Harry towards his destiny through the books and the movies. So if you don't have a strong Dumbledore who's well written, it's not going to work. So hell yes, Dumbledore is on the list.
And with that, Dumbledore makes the list. Brian, what would you have said?
I 100% agree. He does make the list. You know, and you can definitely say he's more of like a father figure to Harry. You know, that's where you can definitely put that to. And just the interactions with Dumbledore and Harry, like the bond between them, book after book after book after book, just gets just that you can feel like he really loves Harry as if like he was his own son. And every time those little interactions come through, either on book or on screen, it's just like, yes, that's that's the kind of interactions that I would love to see. That's how a father and son would be either on screen or anything. So definitely he does make the list.
Yeah, and for me, it's the same. It's like he's the Obi-Wan to Harry. He's the mentor. He's the one that's always there to guide Harry on the path, and even though it may seem like at times he was encouraging Harry to break the rules, and but in saying that, every time Harry broke the rules, Dumbledore's like, well, I mean, I knew I'd expel you or suspend you if you broke the rules, but you actually helped save the school. So I mean, I can't really punish you for that. So I mean, he's just one of those ones which, yes, he was strict at times, but he also, you could tell he really cared for Harry as well. It's did everything to help him.
Can we also say that he's a terrible headmaster?
Yes,
overall rules and stuff, he is a terrible. He had every right to be fired in number 5. I'm just throwing it out there. Everybody says that they hate Dolores, and I agree with you. But as running the school, gosh awful. He let everything go.
Yeah. Hunter, who's your first nomination?
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this one out of the way because I'm pretty much sure he's not going to make it. But this is one of my favorite characters from this particular book. And it's Albus Severus Potter, Harry Potter's son from Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Now, the reason I went with this character is because of how so complex that he is in the book. I mean, this is the son of Harry Potter who has to live up to his father's expectations. When he goes to Hogwarts, everyone's thinking, oh, he's going to be on Gryffindor. He gets put into Slytherin. So it's a Harry Potter son who's part of the Slytherin household. And it takes a toll on him because he's wondering in his mind, am I truly evil, or was it a mistake, or what was going on? And you really, as you delve deep into the Cursed Child, you really get the psyche of Albus, of the stress of his father always lying to him. And maybe Harry wasn't always the best father, but you could tell the interaction between Harry and Albus was there, and it was a good connection towards the end, which I absolutely love. It's a good father-son story, and Albus is the one who's leading the way.
Yeah, and
this one here, so.
Yeah, this one caused a big debate in the chat. The reason I allowed it is because it is, even though it is a play, it was released as a book. I'm going to go for one of the people who is probably going to downvote anyway, Cody.
Nope. Love it. Can't wait to see it. No, it's a play. Doesn't think it's a book.
It's a book.
And bad you, Hunter. You haven't finished 5th, 6th, 7th, and you're reading Cursed Child. Disapprove.
Well, I'm reading it to my sister, to be honest. We got that so I can read it to her, but we're reading it together.
Okay, well, I respect that, but still, no. Disrespectful.
Yeah. Brian, what do you think to Albus Severus Potter?
I was gonna say let Dan go on this one because I really need to think on this one because this one's a little bit of like I need to like try to process this because it's I do agree it is a complex character but yeah come back to me on this one.
Dan, what do you think about Albus Severus?
I'll tell you what. I give a lot of credit for Hunter for nominating this character, and he really made a very good, solid argument for the character. I have so many other characters that I love, and I want to get nominated above this character that I have to say no. And I read the book, and I have to say no.
Yeah, no, I'll let Brian think some more, and but yeah, for me, as I said, depending on the character, it would depend on if I'd say yes. But Albus Severus, I liked him in The Cursed Child, and he does appear in the main books. But I actually disagree that he had a good arc, but I'm going to have to say no as well. So. Brian, what would you have said he doesn't make the list?
I would have been on the side of no as well. Just because he does struggle within himself to, because whether he's either good or bad, it's not because of the struggles there. It's because of I think it's maybe something else that's within the book that I can't really place right now at the moment. But the more like if I read it again, then I'll probably understand like where I would say the no to. But I had to say no at the moment.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd make it, but I tried to put a good argument out there.
It was a good try. Yeah, it was a good softball. It was it was a
I don't disagree with the character at all. I just don't consider it a book. So that's why I said no to it.
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah. As I said to Hunter when he proposed, I was like, well, I mean, if it's someone that you really feel should be on the list, give it a go. I mean, like it's one of those ones like
hold on.
What?
Uh-oh.
I can use my save, right?
No, because we all said no.
Oh, okay. Dang it, I would have.
I was about to flip my computer. I would
have used my save on him. I don't care.
So, three people, so they have to have at least one yes, right, to be able to save?
It has to be a 2-3 split, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
so close.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get my first nomination out there, and I mean, it's a really obvious one, but it's going to be Harry Potter. I mean, he's the iconic character of the franchise. To not have him on a Harry Potter list is weird. I mean, but it's one of those ones like to have a good villain, you need a good hero, and that is kind of what Harry Potter is in the books. And I'm getting a lot of faces from few people, so I'm getting worried now. I'm going to go to Brian first. Brian, what do you say to Harry Potter?
I will say yes. I will say yes.
Everything holy.
But I will say yes for one reason only. It is because of the arc in the books that he has gone through, and I'm not and yes, he does go through an arc in the books, but eventually I gotta say slow, like dies down a little bit, but then picks himself up.
Yeah.
It was a very hesitant yes. So, but
Yeah.
I really would love to see what Cody says about this because
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what Cody has to say now, Cody.
It could have been called Jimmy Bibb and the curse. It doesn't matter. Harry Potter already made the list because it's Harry Potter characters. He is the least likely. He does not drive any. He drives this stuff, but everybody else is the people that you like. He is in Lord of the Rings. It's Frodo. Woo! I'm glad you're taking the journey because if it wasn't you, we wouldn't have the story. But other than that, nothing. I say no to Harry Potter because he's already making the list. Because when you put the list out there, it'll be Harry Potter's characters. Bye.
Dan, what do you say to Harry Potter?
You know what? I want to make. I want to be the deciding vote. So I'm going to go. Let Hunter go first.
Okay, Hunter, what do you say to Harry Potter?
I had him on my list very first, so yeah, Harry Potter makes the list. He's the focal point of the entire story. He drives all the narratives and has a great arc going forward. So yes.
Can I make an unsave? Can I unsave? Dang it!
What would you have said? He's making the list with regardless now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Harry Potter's on the list. I would have said no. Actually, I would have agreed with Cody. I feel like I think Harry Potter is a phenomenal character. I think the books are phenomenal. They're called Harry Potter and the blah 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 blah. All the books are. I have some really interesting characters that I want to see make the list. I knew somebody was going to vote for nominate Harry Potter, and he's probably going to get on the list. So I figured, well, heck with that. I'm going to say no. He'll probably get on anyway, and that's what happened. So it doesn't matter to me, you know.
Can I just make one? Can I make one point for a second? And I think we're probably all going to agree with this, mainly Cody and Dan here. But don't you guys think that just because Harry Potter is there as like the main character, I think the overall like characters that surround him build him up to be like a good character to follow through.
Oh,
you know,
yes.
I mean,
Everybody says he's the luckiest character in the history of every book ever. He literally gets pushed into most of his situations, which I love the series and everything about it. But Harry is not what made me keep coming back to that book. There's no way. No way.
Yeah.
But I knew he'd make the list. I knew he would.
And can I just say one thing? A very similar comparison is Luke Skywalker isn't necessarily the best character in the Star Wars movies. I mean, is he great in Return of the Jedi and in Empire Strikes Back? Yeah, but he's not the best character in the Star Wars. But he is the focal point. Without Luke Skywalker, you don't have Star Wars.
Yeah.
Very similar to Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker. So that's where I see where Brian's coming from and Cody as well. But hey, he's on the list. We can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, I personally can see where you guys are coming from as well. It's like, for me, he's not high on my list, so you'd be surprised where I actually vote for him as well. So
yeah, he wasn't high on my list either. I mean, yeah, he may be, yes, he may be within like the top, he's in like the top 10 characters, but I mean, honestly, he's like lower tier top 10 in my opinion, because I think everybody else, that he surrounds himself with, drives him to be a great wizard, and I think other picks that we will eventually go into actually make him to be a good, a great character.
Yeah. Anyway, while it's on you, Brian, you get the next pick. So who are you bringing up now?
I gotta put in one character here that also I gotta do it. It's one of his main friends that he always goes to, and it's Hermione. It's Hermione. I mean, that's Hermione in my opinion, maybe the smartest of the trio of Harry, Ron, and herself. But I think without her, and without her, without her knowledge of everything that she knows about, it would not be the same. The books would not be the same. The movies would not be the same. You know, and thank God she's like the middle there, and she sets them like straight, and just says, no, this is how you have to do things. And if you do things this way, then it's going to end up turning into a cluster. What? So
Yeah.
I would have to say Hermione.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely an interesting pick. Cody, what do you say to Hermione?
I'm saying one of the friends and not the other, but I think Hermione is better in the books than she is in the movies. I feel like she has a way better arc in the book. I feel like she's not as, especially in the first beginning books, as she comes off. She starts getting her edge in the third one and starts carrying on from there. But yeah, I don't think Emma Watson did a bad job. Again, any problem with the movies, I always see that it's the writing. Like, it never translated the greatest, and they did the best they could with the 2-hour block that people gave them. But yeah, Hermione is one of those characters that I always enjoyed reading in the books because she comes from such a different background than most that you feel, and you almost feel, especially the discrimination between her in that race, in that world, and that's just something that they don't flush out as well in the movies. I mean, they have that moment where she cries and she's all upset, but in the book they dive into it, and it really means something a lot more. So that's why I like Hermione as much as I do in the books. So I would give her a yes vote on this list.
Dan, what do you say about Hermione?
I'll tell you what. Me and Brian are right on. Same length here, boy. He's picking the same ones that I would pick. Hermione. I mean, so many of the subplots. Cody brought this up. So many of the subplots that Hermione was involved in the books were cut out of the movies. So she doesn't seem like is an interesting character. She gets a great arc in part 1 and part 2 of Deathly Hallows. And that's where you really get to see what a great character she was all along in the books. Mm-hmm. She's doing so much in the books, and she's always there. She's always got the answer when you need it. She's always, that her being so smart, helping Ron and Harry out a lot of the times. And I love it in Deathly Hallows. I'm going to go back to Deathly Hallows when she's got that bag, and the bag's got all this stuff in it, and it's like a never-ending bag, and it's got all this, and it's like only Hermione would whatever the word is, magic a bag and then put all this stuff in there. It's like a purse. A woman figures a woman would have a purse, and it would be like a never-ending purse. And it's got all that stuff in there. You got to give Hermione credit for that, and that is one of my favorite parts about Hermione's character is what she does in Deathly Hallows. And I'm glad they did it in 2 parts, so we get to see the full brunt of how great of a character Hermione is. So yeah, I would have had Hermione on the list easily. Good job, Brian.
And with that, Hermione does make the list. Hunter, what would you have said?
Oh, without a doubt. Like I said, I'm only on like book 5, and I'm loving Hermione's arc so far. I know it's going to get way better. But yeah, I love this character since the first book. So yeah, definitely makes it.
Yeah, and it would have been a hell yes for me as well. It was like Hermione's arc was pretty much what in the book, just perfect. Like, and with the movies, I mean, if they'd made Goblet Order and Goblet and Order 2-part movies as well, that most of those subplots will probably still be there. You'll get to see that more in the movies. I mean, Half-Blood is probably the only one I don't think needs to be a 2-part movie, but yeah. But I mean, it's her arc in. Yeah, It's just
No, go
one of
ahead.
those
No,
good things.
I just was going to say something after you were finished, Malcolm. Just finish what you were saying.
It's all right. I was pretty much finished anyway.
Now, I heard, I might be completely wrong. Was WB rumored to actually do a Harry Potter TV show start over at the very beginning? Or am I just like off in left field here?
I never heard of that.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I haven't. I mean, it could have possibly been a rumor, but don't know. But
Okay.
Cody, it's on to you. Who are you going to nominate next?
Well, one, if a show is going to pick up any Harry Potter, it needs to be HBO. I have two. With one, I absolutely love in the books, but I don't know how everybody else partakes it. Or one that's very clear cut because he's just fantastic. So I'm going to go with the one that is a little off the wall, maybe. Most people said this when the series came out, that this one character needed to be included in the movies and wasn't, and that's Peeves. I love this character. He is literally one of the best jokey characters throughout the book. He also, the reason he's cut out because Snape and Finch were made to be those menacing characters throughout the hall, but he literally caused so much mischief. Everybody likes Headless Nick and stuff, but I think he's the best ghost, especially in this movie, and he needed a part in it. So I'm going with Peeves.
And fun fact, Peeves was going to be in the movie. He was going to be played by Rick Mayall. So, I think I can't remember why he was cut out. I think Rick had a bike accident or something, which led to him being hospitalized, so he couldn't actually film his scenes or something. So there was something that led to him being cut out because I think they were still going to.
Well, I also, if he was pretty much any time that Harry or them are caught out in the thing, it was supposed to be Peeves, but pretty much that is eliminated because you have to have Snape and Finch be those linchpins in a 2-hour movie instead of a 4-hour movie.
Yeah. Anyway, Brian, what do you say about Peeves?
I didn't really think he was that interesting of a character in the books, honestly. In my opinion. I think he was just a little bit like he felt a little bit out of place in the books, and it just and for me, if he wasn't included in there, then it would have been, it would have been a little bit like better. But for me, sorry, Cody, but it's got to be a no. But
out of place does not make sense. Just saying. Continue on.
Hunter, what do you say about Peeves?
I didn't have him on my list, and to be honest, it's going to be a no for me. Just because, there are so many other characters that I feel like we should have put on this, or should put on this list, that I can't see putting Peeves in there.
Dan, what do you think about Peeves?
I really applaud the courage of Cody to put Peeves the Poltergeist up for a vote. But with so many interesting characters in the Harry Potter books, this is not one of the ones that I would have thought that would make this list, and so I'm going to have to say no. But he does cause a lot of mayhem and mischief in the books, and it's some funny stuff when you're reading. You're like, oh crap! But I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no for Peeves the Poltergeist.
And with that, Peeves doesn't make the list. I probably would have said, I would have actually said no too, just because, in the books he was there for comic relief. I found him okay. For me personally, I actually found Nearly Headless Nick the better ghost in the books. So.
Sorry, everybody likes to laugh except the 4 people on this panel.
But yeah, I applaud the courage of trying to get someone out of the left field on this.
That's called Harry Potter. Really, what it is, Malcolm. I already said it. You're fine.
Anyway, it's over to Dan. Dan, who's the next one you're going to bring up?
Oh, thank God I had a chance to. Thank you to you guys for voting some of the ones on my list, so I get the little further down my list here. I'll tell you what. I absolutely love book 1. I didn't like book 2 as much, but when I read book 3, I felt like I was like reading the freaking Bible. I was like, oh my God, this is a revelation. These characters in book 3 are phenomenal. I mean, what was going on? A lot of the characters, like Hermione, was fleshed out some in book 3, but the one character that really did it for me, and then they turned it into a phenomenal character in the movies, portrayed by Gary Oldman, and that's Sirius Black. I love Sirius Black. We got to learn about Harry's father and the whole group of guys that were all buddies and stuff like that. And then we get the map, and we get Peter Pettigrew. We get all these interesting, cool characters, and we get some of the story fleshed out in book 3 in Prisoner of Azkaban. But Sirius Black, the whole marketing campaign where he's yelling and the posters are moving and they're the wanted posters, and oh, Sirius Black, oh, he did this, oh, Sirius Black, he did that. Oh, it's just such a, oh man, I really, really love Sirius Black, and I love the portrayal by Gary Oldman, and that's why I nominate Sirius Black.
Brian, what do you think about Sirius?
Dan, I had that as my next pick. I had him as my next pick. I mean, it's definitely a hell yes for me. It's a hell yes. And the reason why I love Sirius Black so much is every little moment that he has with Harry is just so perfect. And even in the movies, when Gary Oldman and Daniel Radcliffe are acting there together, those scenes, I always have man tears. Okay, I have man tears because those are just so perfectly placed, and even in the books too. It's just yes, Sirius Black, yes.
Cody, what do you think about Sirius?
Okay, so I went with an off the wall because the obvious choice was Sirius Black in the next slot. One, this is a different movie does this relationship, and that's not to say that I don't think the acting's great. They're just not enough to know why Harry loves Sirius as much as he does, like he does in the books. In the movies, he's a talking fire. Most of the movie, he's the dog. Like, there's not that bond like in the book because they, again, 500, 600, those pages speak more, put more detail out there. So when he dies, I've never understood a person that hasn't read the books that watches that movie and is emotionally completely wrecked like I was, because I know that character, and when he died in the book, it's like a punch to the gut, because in the movie it's just boom and then he's gone, but there's not that much build-up there. He doesn't even have that much screen time, even though Gary Oldman does a fantastic job as him. It's not as well fleshed out. So that's why I think Sirius is a brilliant movie character, book character. He would have never made my list in the movie version because of the lack of character development.
And with that, Sirius Black makes the list. Hunter, what would you have said?
Sirius Black is one of my favorite characters. I had him at number 1. As you guys pointed out, his connection with Harry is really what drives the books and the movies. Now, as you guys know, I saw the movies first, so I saw Gary Oldman's great performance of Sirius Black first. Went back and read the books. The third book is my favorite. The third movie is my favorite. Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite. And just the fact that they give Sirius Black more time in the books is what I love, because I love this character in general. So, yeah, definitely.
And it makes sense, since you just finished 5, why you like what Sirius would honestly be your number 1. It makes perfect sense. So
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one.
and I would have said yes as well, because like in the movies, like he didn't have a lot of screen time at all, and most of the time he was just a fire. But it would have been how he is. Because in the books, like there's a lot more scenes in Goblet with him. There's a lot more scenes in Order of the Phoenix. So it's like, it's a big gut punch when he dies. So it's like, yeah, he would have made it. Hunter, who is the next one you're going to bring up to nominate?
Okay, so mine is also from Prisoner of Azkaban. And it's Remus Lupin. One of the best Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers of all time. This is one of the characters you could actually tell really cared what Harry was going through. Harry could go to him about anything, and Lupin would tell him straight. He would talk to him. He would tell him things that he didn't want to hear, but that he needed to hear. And then when you find out he's a werewolf and all the signs with that, and the connection between him and Harry, even though it is one book, but in the book they dive into it so well, I think at least, that Remus Lupin has to be on this list.
And I'll go to Dan first. Dan, what do you say about Lupin?
I'll tell you what, Hunter, great pick. Great pick. I had Remus Lupin next on my list. You know what I like about Remus Lupin? You see these flawed characters and these characters that have emotional depth. And one of the best ones that really has a lot of emotional depth is Remus Lupin. And David Thewlis does a great job portraying him in the movies. But these characters in Prisoner of Azkaban just come to life for me. And Sirius Black, Remus Lupin, Snape is really interesting in Prisoner. But like Hermione, and I thought of all the Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers next to Snape, the best one was Remus Lupin, and I thought he really did a lot to help Harry's courage to where he could really do some of the things he does in Book 4 in Prisoner of Azkaban. And once again, he's a buddy of his father's, so he's part of that that group, So, I'm going to vote yes for Remus Lupin. You picked the right one, Hunter.
This time I did.
And Cody, what do you think about Lupin?
I can't agree more that Prisoner is fantastic. I like Lupin a lot. We have it goes to 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Since it goes to 12 and we already have 6, I can put Lupin on. I like Lupin a lot. I think again, most of these have the same problem, is they're better in the book than some of them get translated on the movie. So when you don't know Lupin that well in the movie, because he's one and done. Sorry, I mean pretty much no big things after. But that's why I have to give him. I'll give him a yes vote. I think I agree with Hunter when he said that he actually cares about Harry, and you can see that on screen. And he's the most flawed of the people. Disrespectful that he's probably not my favorite behind Snape. I'm an old fan of Mad-Eyed Moody, but that's for different reasons, of course. But especially the movie just pushed that higher on the list. No offense, but yes, I have to give Lupin a spot on, at least on the top 12.
Yeah, and with that, Lupin makes the list. Brian, what would you have said?
I would have said yes as well, and even and I also do agree with Hunter. I mean, the interactions in the book between Lupin and Harry is also equal to like a father and son, but that's more like uncle and son. Like if you wanted to get advice about anything, if his parents were around or his friends weren't around, who can he go to? And he would go to Lupin. and Lupin would just say, everything's gonna be all right. Just, everything. This is what you need to do, and everything should be fine. So I would also parallel that as like an uncle and like an uncle and nephew type of relationship that he has with him. So yes, definitely on the list.
Yeah, and I mean, Lupin is what almost didn't make it for me. I probably still would have said yes though, but yeah, for me, like he was good in the books, and I mean in the movies, like he didn't have a lot. But I mean, we're not talking about the movies anyway. But it's the movies really didn't do the character justice. But David Phillips's acting was perfect as Lupin. But yeah, anyway,
Lupin gives him the most to go. Lupin gives him the most stuff to face real danger. So he is the one that actually gives him real life scenarios. So it's one of the better ones.
Yeah. And I mean, some of my favourite moments of Lupin were actually pushed to the wayside in the movies, like the moment where him and Tonks announced that they were expecting a kid and all that, and just that sort of just went to the side plot. Like Moody was like, "Oh, we've got no time for that." It's like just pushed to the side. But anyway, it's back to me, and it's down to a bit of sausage fest on this. So I'm going to bring in another female. And it's between two. Both of them. One of them, I think, was done slightly better in the movies than the books. The other one was done better in the books than the movies, and so I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to bring up Ginny Weasley. For me, Ginny was was done better in the books. And yes, I get a lot of people do not like the character much in either form, but for me, I'm one of the ones that do like Ginny and Harry as a couple, because it's, and especially near the later books where she starts coming into her own, and that is just the way she sort of come in and became part of the people that help Harry in the end, especially from Order of the Phoenix onward, where she was part of the Dumbledore's army. I'm actually hearing an echo for someone that I've already just noticed. It's starting getting annoying. But yeah, that's better. But yeah, so Ginny's on the table. Cody, what do you say?
Well, why don't we just go through and nominate all the Potters? Malcolm kindly becomes one, so we might as well throw that out there. No, I agree she's better in the books at times, but I also found her very annoying. There was a female. I don't know exactly which female, but that was going to be my next nomination. But we'll see. But no, Ginny, I don't. It's pretty much vanilla pudding, is the way I can describe it. It's just bland. Like, sure, if it's a Sunday afternoon, I could enjoy it, but like her as a character is she could have been anybody in my eyes. Sorry, Malcolm, I don't mean to rag on you. I understand why. It's just for me, I didn't resonate.
Yeah, that's all right. Everyone's opinions is valid.
Thanks,
Brian. What do you say about Ginny?
Ginny, I will say, I will agree with you. She had a better arc in the books than in the movies, because not only does she start off as like a little bit like, quiet and to herself. I think the moment that she starts like gravitating towards Harry, then it just starts making her want to push to like, to whether if Harry was in a situation, and she wasn't around, what would happen there? So then she just starts going into her own and just start, pushing over towards trying to help Harry out with a lot of situations. So, and the relationship is definitely there, the more that you keep on reading into it in the books. So I would say yes. I will say yes, Ginny Weasley.
Dan, what do you think about Ginny?
You know, I love you to death, Malcolm. I love you to death. And I think Ginny was the perfect relationship for Harry in the books. But as a character, she's not that good of a character. And I have some more interesting characters, that people that have more just things going on with their character that I like better than Ginny Weasley. So I'm going to say no.
Hunter, what will you say about Ginny?
You're the deciding factor.
I am. I like the Ginny character, but I do agree that she is kind of bland. And I'm on book 5, and it doesn't seem like she's getting that more interesting to me. So I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, and I'm not going to save her. But
Malcolm's like, nah.
I mean, it's fun. I get your reasoning. I just thought I'd try someone out of left field, and I didn't expect.
Who gave the yes vote?
Brian.
Me, yeah, it was me and
get out.
Yeah,
it was me and Malcolm. It was me and Malcolm who said yes.
But we can have Ginny.
Anyway, Brian, it's back to you. Who you want to nominate next?
Oh man, okay. So, if you wanna continue with the other, well, here's my other woman pick that I wanted to put out here, and I would say she has an arc similar in the books and in the movies as well. So I gotta say Molly Weasley. Now my argument for this is that she is more of a mother figure to Harry. You know, so if it was like Harry had gone into a family, he would have gone into the Weasleys. So that's like a mother figure to him, but not in the way that everybody thinks of it as. So Molly Weasley, in my opinion, she does, she has her reservations to herself, and those reservations mainly came in when she was afraid to tell Harry about the past times that had happened before, mainly with the order of the Phoenix, and she was afraid that Harry may get into that situation there, which is where I really truly thought that the character of Molly started to come out, and that's where like the mother figure was like, no, I do not want Harry to be in this situation at all. But look at what happens now. Look at what happens. But she has to live. She has to live with it. So I will say Molly Weasley. It's on the table.
Interesting pick. I'm going to go with Hunter. Mrs. Weasley's on the table. What do you say?
I hear Brian's argument, and somewhat I agree with it. Is that you could tell that Molly was supposed to be the mother that Harry didn't know that he had. Like, she really did care about Harry and pretty much made Harry part of the Weasley family. Where my other side of my brain is, I didn't find her. I didn't feel like she had a good story behind her. She was just the mother. That's where I'm kind of probably going to inch towards no, is that I wish they gave her a bit more to do in the books and the movies.
Okay.
Yeah. Cody, what do you say about Mrs. Weasley?
Well, kind of using Dan's statement that he used about Voldemort, that you always need that twirling mustache, blah, blah. You needed a motherly figure. Molly plays the part. I think she's a great character. I honestly think she may be better in the movies than she would be in the book. It's kind of 50-50 for me because I think the character, the actress, I can't think of her name off the hand, but who plays Molly, plays her is just
Julie
that
Walters.
good. She just brings her out, especially the ending line, leave my daughter alone, you bitch.
Not
still one of the best. Yeah, so that's great. But yeah, I think I like her more in the movie, actually, than I do in the book. So I'm going to give it a no.
And Dan, what do you say about Mrs. Weasley?
I'll tell you what. I'm glad somebody said this list was going to be 12 because I thought it was 7. And I thought, okay, we're going to be finished. And because it's 12, I'll be honest with you. I could see Mrs. Weasley as number 12 on this list. If you think about all the characters and all the interesting characters, she really did have a great arc in the books, looking after Harry and Ron and looking after the kids. And then, like Cody said, she was good in the movies. The actress Julie Walters played her really good in the movies. I love what was the burning letter. I love it when she's like screaming at him for doing something wrong and stuff. And she does have some moments. She does have some moments in all the books. Go ahead, Cody. Say what you want to say. Interrupt me.
You voted no to Voldemort, and you're going to put Molly Weasley on this list?
I thought it was 7. I thought it was 7.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was 12. Okay. If I had known it was 12, I would have said yes to Voldemort. I just found out it was 12. I thought it was 7. But yeah, I'm going to say yes to I'm going to say yes to Molly Weasley. Yeah, I think like Malcolm said, it was a sausage fest. We need to get some
there
women.
There are other women, and they're better.
I know. I got one woman on my list that I'm hoping he gets on the list. I'm going to say yes, though. I'm going to say I like Molly Weasley, as a matter of fact.
It's down to you, Malcolm.
Yes, and I've no idea why I did this to myself. Because on one hand, I agree with Cody and Hunter's. Like, she is interesting, and she doesn't really have an arc per se in the book. She's more of that mother figure role. But on the other hand, I do agree with Dan and Brian as well, because like just in the Deathly Hallows alone is what kind of maybe considered putting her on the list, but it is going to be a no, because sorry Brian, but it's just for the reasons like for me personally, like she would have been, if it was a top 15 list, then I probably would have said yes, but like she's just sort of just out of that 12 for me. Is like, but yeah,
okay, that's reasonable. It's understandable.
I mean, you can save her if you want, Brian.
You know what?
It'll be an easy 12.
I will use my save. I'll use. I'll.
Holy crap!
Okay.
Wow.
Cody, it's your turn to nominate. Who are you going to nominate next?
Okay. The one that just made the list may have gotten killed by her, but way more menacing, probably worse than Voldemort. It's Bella. Oh my gosh.
Bellatrix.
Bellatrix Strange. I'm so mad right now. I understand it's a sausage fat, blah, blah, blah. But Ron Weasley's not even on this list, but sure is Mama. Okay. Bellatrix is way more menacing in most parts than Voldemort. I think she's great in the movie, but I think those parts that she doesn't get in the movies makes her even worse in the books. I think I was more scared of her showing up in the books than I was in the movies. And she holds 2 of the most heartbreaking deaths in the books. And you may not like the last one, but I guarantee the first one she does is way worse. And let's be honest, she literally sends 2 great characters that are not mentioned that much in the book either, the Longbottoms, crazy because she tortures them. She's literally has no shame, and she throws it in Neville's face. Like, anytime she sees him, she throws it in his face because 1, she knows Neville can't take her, and 2, she has that power, and she's so menacing, and she's so evil. And when she dies, in the books by Molly that made the list, you're almost celebrating because the evil finally dead and by a good character, but not a top 12 character, but a good character. So my turn is Bellatrix Lestrange.
Brian, what do you say about Bellatrix?
I was sad that Molly didn't get to come in, but I will say yes to Bellatrix Lestrange. She really is menacing. She is like a maniacal, crazed out. She's like really, really terrifying, honestly. And the way that you picture her, like the imagination that you can picture of her, is straight out of like a horror movie. You know, what if she was in a horror movie? That would be insane. So, yes, Bellatrix Lestrange. And by the way, Molly did not make it on the list, and you put her on the list.
I thought you used your save.
Yeah,
you used your save.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did.
Keep opening the wound. You're getting no outs the rest of the night.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to
say that you're fine, but you're actually not fine.
I mean, I'm going to go next, and yeah, I mean, it's a yes to Bellatrix for me as well, because she's probably one of the big, next to Voldemort, she's probably one of a very major villain, and it's just one of those ones which, like, with everything she's done in the books, killing of Sirius, torturing the Longbottoms, the killing of Dobby. I mean, it's a lot of those deaths made, like, even grown men cry. Even when they did them in the movies, like, they were just so impactful that you just could not put her on the list. Dan, what would you have said?
Yeah, I would have not put her on the list because I just have other characters I wanted to see make the list. And I do like the portrayal of Bellatrix Lestrange by Helena Bonham Carter. I think she's really sinister and nasty in the movies. I just don't think the character gets that much interest. She wasn't that interesting of a character to me in the books. And I thought there were much more interesting characters in the books. That's just my opinion. I mean, she's on the list, so it doesn't matter what I say. You know, I mean, you got her on the list, Cody. So you should be happy.
And I would have saved her if she didn't. So
I killed Sirius Black. I killed Sirius Black.
Okay, we're done.
Hunter, what would you have said about Bellatrix?
I had her on my list, and yeah, she would have made it. She was. I'm legit terrified of her. I'm more terrified of her than I am of Voldemort because she's unpredictable, and that's a crazy bitch right there. That's a bitch you don't want to cross.
Imagine bringing her over to Mom's.
She kills your mother. She would kill your mother. She'd actually kill you. But, yeah.
I don't want to even
like the torture. Okay. So.
Okay. Next.
Anyway, Dan, who are you going to bring up next?
Well, hopefully this time I can make Cody happy. He seems to not like a lot of my decisions that I'm making.
You don't like mine either.
It's amazing that we're both Red Sox fans. It's so strange to me that we have
You're
so
acting
many.
like a Yankee.
But I'm gonna go with Mad Eye Moody, Brendan Gleeson. I'll tell you what. When I read this character in the books, I was like, wow, what a crazy, interesting character. I actually thought this actor named Pete Postlethwaite would have been a great portrayal, but when I saw Brendan Gleeson's portrayal of him in the Goblet of Fire, I was like, oh man, I can't imagine anybody else as this character. And he's got so many quirkiness about him, and of course Brendan Gleeson brings all those quirky, interesting characteristics into the character. But the book character is really good. He's in Order of the Phoenix. He's in obviously the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2, and so he has a lot of moments in the books that I really enjoy. Of course, we know he turns into Barty Crouch. He was Barty Crouch in the Goblet of Fire, so it's not really technically Mad Eye Moody and the Goblet of Fire, but I still love the character. I think that's what's interesting about Harry Potter in the first place, is that so many kind of just oddball, off the wall, out there types of characters, and this is one of them that is one of the most interesting to me, and that's why I am nominating Mad Eye Moody.
I'm going to throw it over to Cody. Cody, what do you say about Moody?
Oh, well, I actually like the choice. This is where the tough choice is, because I might actually like him a little bit better in the movies than I do in the books. But I think he's a great character. But that's the problem. Like, every time I think of Mad Eye now, like, certain characters, when you think of him now, like, you only picture the movie. And I don't know if that's for everybody, but, like, I will never forget the ferret line. In probably any movie, that's still one of my favorite lines. But does he? This is a tough one. Because we're up to
9.
9. That means 2 more, and that means
3 more.
Malcolm will throw out another Potter, and Hunter will forget 6, 7. So this is a tough one for me. I'm going to say yes, especially with the Barney Crouch. The movie, I guess that even helps the character more, because when I reread that book, I think of that character and put his lines into that voice as a ferret. Like, those lines are great, and I'll have to give it a yes. Mad Eye makes the list.
Yeah. I'm going to go next, and I'm actually going to say no to Moody. I mean, not that I don't like the character. For me, you don't really truly get to know him until 5, because, I mean, granted, yes, his presence is there in Goblet, but that's not really him technically, and I mean, a lot of my favorite lines and stuff from him comes from Goblet when it wasn't actually him saying them. So
that's a very good point.
But I mean,
That's a good
like
point.
his death in books does get to you sort of like a lot of the deaths in Deathly Hallows. Yeah, even though you don't see them, a lot of them, but you do. His like I can't remember who it was I was writing from, but when he comes back and says Moody's dead, is like, it just does get to you, because you do get enough connection with the character to care for him. But yeah,
I'm doing it first. I'm doing it first. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm changing my vote to a no. What you said is perfect, because honestly, it's true. It's true. It's his character is the stuff I value is not him. It's Barney Crouch Jr. to be honest. So I'm gonna have to give it a no vote.
Yeah.
That's 100. You're right. Even the ferret line is Barney Crouch Jr. So,
and that is a first to rank him. Hunter, what do you say about Moody?
Dan, I'm sorry, brother, but I agree with them. When I think of the best of Mad Eye Moody, I think of him as Barty Crouch Jr. That's just me from the book and the movies. He's got the best lines. And maybe it's just me, but I'm halfway through book 5, and Moody seems like the real Moody seems kind of boringish to me right now. Maybe he'll get better, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean he does get better, but yeah.
He does,
Brian,
he does.
what do you say about Moody?
You need to know what you're up against. You need to be prepared. You need to find another place to put your chewing gum besides the underside of your desk, Mr. Finnegan. I love that. I love that line from. I love that line, but I would have said yes. I would have said yes, honestly, because I think honestly, you know, yes, it wasn't him in Goblet of Fire, but the arc of him does grow in 5, 6, and then Deathly Hallows. But I would have said yes. I would have said yes.
You literally just quoted his line when he's Barney Crouch Jr. You literally just quoted it. You quoted nothing else, you quoted that. Go ahead. We should have nominated Barney Crouch Jr.
You have to admit it was the best line that was said by Mad Eye Moody. Okay, he was technically Mad Eye Moody. He was disguising himself as Mad Eye Moody. That was Mad Eye Moody.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
But that would be.
If I put on a Brian mask and do a quote as Brian, I'm not Brian. I'm Cody as Brian. That's literally how this rule works. I'm sorry, you're completely false and incorrect.
Anyway,
identity theft isn't really the problem.
Let's move on.
Anyway, Dan can save Moody if he wants.
I am saving Mad Eye Moody.
Yes. Yes.
I knew it.
Yes.
Huh? Easy number 12.
You said that about Molly as well. So.
Oh yeah, then it's 11. It's 12 and 11. We're fine now. We filled out our list.
Hunter,
go Red Sox. Go Red Sox.
All right, so it's on to me now.
Yeah.
See, I got 2 that I'm debating about, but I gotta go with this one. I'm not sure with 2 spots left if he's gonna be mentioned again. So I'm going Neville Longbottom.
Ooh.
From the first book to book 5 that I'm on, you can see that the growth is there. He's got a tragic backstory with his parents, with Bellatrix, what she did to him, and the fact that Bellatrix keeps bringing it back to him to torture him even more, and the fact that character he keeps growing, keeps learning, keeps wanting to learn. That's what makes him me. You know, I see myself in Neville. Like, I want to keep learning. I want to keep becoming better, and Neville keeps wanting to become a better wizard, which is what he ends up doing. Is he keeps getting better, and at the end of the day, from the movies at least, he's the one that really has a lot of growth in his character.
Brian, what do you say about Neville?
Ooh. That's I will say yes. I will say yes. Now, the reason why I say yes is because I think it's more about him wanting to be a good wizard, and he wants to grow from it, but yet he is clumsy a lot. I think that clumsiness does bring out the human side to him, and it just makes you want to feel bad for him, and you do feel bad for him. But then once he starts joining in the Order and Dumbledore's army, then I think you really see, you know, the braveness that comes out in him, and that's when he just starts going from this clumsy character that we know to now he's moving on, and you get to see him be a good wizard by Deathly Hallows. So I would say yes to Neville.
Cody, Neville Longbottom is on the table. What do you say?
I'm pretty sure he'll make the list. But he's pretty much one of those characters. I always called him the Dudley Do-Right of the book. He just stumbled his way into things and like way bigger. In the books, he does have a better arc, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that I never really connected with Neville, and I understand Hunter's point of that. I just think he always just stumbled through, and there he is. He actually did something. I even remember, like, if you go to the movie, like when he actually did it, when people did read the books, they're like, "Whoa, Neville did that!" I'm like, okay, instantly he's not that great. I mean, he does get better over time, but I don't think his arc. I think with 2 spots left, I think there's better characters out there. That's just my opinion.
Dan, what do you say about Neville?
I mean, I think if Hunter had nominated Neville like a couple picks ago, he might have actually got on the list. But because of what Cody just said, I think there's other characters that I still want to see get nominated, and I want to see hopefully people will nominate other characters. And it's not that I don't like Neville Longbottom, because I think it's a really interesting character. You know, that actor showed up in one other movie that I remember, and it's like complete night and day difference in the other movie. So it's like weird that actor is going to be known for playing that character. And but the book character is really good. But I'm going to have to say no, because the same reason Cody said no.
Down to you, Malcolm.
Yep. This is tough because he does have a good arc in the books, and especially from 5 to 7, it's where he comes out to play. But I'm leaning towards no for Neville, because just for the thing that there's 2 spots left. I've got few characters that I want to bring up and haven't yet. So yeah, it's a no for me. So Neville doesn't make it.
He can use the save, right?
He does have the save. He can save.
Gosh. Just hear me out. There are 2 characters. Oh my gosh!
Use my save for Neville.
You will kick yourself when you hear about these 2 characters that you just left off. Just saying. And Brian, quit bringing things up. Thank you.
I was going to say them regardless, but if you didn't.
Brian, change your vote.
It's too late now.
He loves chaos.
So does Mike Kalinowski, apparently, but
Wait, let me stop you right there.
Here we go.
Continue. You can continue. Continue.
Now,
all right, Malcolm, you're up, buddy.
There's only 1 spot left, so it's.
Oh my gosh.
So it's making it a lot harder for me to decide to throw out this bet. There's 3 characters I think deserve to be here, but only 1 potentially can make it. I'm going to try this one. This is probably one of the most heartbreaking deaths in the series. I'm going to throw out Dobby the house elf.
For the love.
But yeah, it's just one of those ones, like, he may not have had a lot to do in the books, but when he was in the books, he really did a lot in that few times, and like especially in Deathly Hallows, where he gave his life to make sure that Harry and Luna and Ollivander got away safely, and made sure that they continued on the quest, was and really emotional enough for me to take this risk and throw him out there. Cody looks like he's about to have die, but Cody, what do you say about Dobby?
Okay. I've been in this community for a little bit. I have respect for all four of you. But I'm telling you right now, Dobby the house elf gets on this list before two characters that literally are another linchpins. I'm going to lose it. And I know you're probably all just going to do it for laughs now, but I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Dobby is one of the Dobby is one of the characters ruined. The movie ruined the character from the book. Made it the most annoying thing. When you read it, you can put whatever voice you want to it. You can make it. He shows up on screen. I wanted to punch him. He is so annoying of a character that ruined when I reread it. I'm like, I'm done. Nope. Skip over the Dobby part. No matter. That's why, like, the sad part is you cry when in the book when he dies. In the movie, I'm like, you brought him back and now you're going to kill him. Okay, I'm fine with it. Move on. So I have to give it an absolute no vote. Brian, Hunter, Dan, I get it. You like controversy. You like to have fun. Listen, I'm going to have an aneurysm if Dobby gets on this list.
I kind of want to do it now just to see your reaction.
This
you want me to die on camera?
This just in, everybody. Cody Hall just said, "Screw you, Cody."
Anyway, Brian, what do you say about Dobby?
I hate to do this. I hate to do this to you, Malcolm, but I gotta say no. I gotta say no. I'm not gonna say he is annoying, but I will say, what was the point in creating the character of Dobby? I will just leave it at that.
Yeah, I can respect that. Dan, what do you say about Dobby?
Yeah, I mean, I actually love the character of Dobby the House Elf. I think it's an interesting type of character in all these different characters that are in the movies. There's no characters like him in the books, and I think it's a really fun character, especially in book 2. But I'm going to say no because I want to see a couple more characters get nominated, and we have a little bit more opportunity to vote yes or no on some other characters that I believe might have an opportunity to get this last spot.
And Hunter, what are you going to say?
Yeah, it's going to be a no for me. I don't think the Dobby character in the movies is as annoying as people think he is. He's definitely annoying, but Dobby didn't really bug me that much. I can't with one spot left.
I think Cody's internet is about to break.
I just want to know what you find annoying then, because if Dobby isn't it, then good lord, you have the strength of 10 billion men.
Dobby wasn't that annoying.
I mean, I have to say, Dobby is less annoying than Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, I agree.
But
and way less racist.
But Cody's lucky he once said no because I can't save him. So, Brian,
I would love if Malcolm saved him.
Brian, who are you going to bring up next?
Okay, I have one more character in mind here. One more in mind. And he is another character that he's a character that everybody loves to hate. You know, you love to hate him so much. Draco Malfoy. Draco Malfoy is a character that you love to hate so much because every single time that there's an interaction with him and Harry, or with him and anybody, it's just like, you know, you just want to punch him in the face because of how mean he is to them. So I'll say Draco.
That's an interesting pick. Hunter, what do you say about Draco?
Okay, this one I'm gonna have to give a no also, because while Draco is a good character in the books, he doesn't do that much for me right now. And yeah, it's a no for me.
Ben?
Cody, what do you say about Draco?
I don't think it needs to be said. It's a no. If this was a list of people who couldn't pull a trigger in a movie or a book, then yeah, give it the vote. But the dude just literally walks through. He's the antagonist with no backbone whatsoever. He annoys everything from the background, but I think his dad does more than he does. And he put Snape in this position to kill Dumbledore, so screw him.
Dan, what do you say about Draco?
I know Brian can't use a save, so
Correct.
I'm going to say yes, actually, for Draco Malfoy, because now it's up to Malcolm. And I think, Harry's student foil was really effective, in my opinion, at being a great foil to Harry. And in book 6, the mission that I know, the failed mission, but that really brought some depth to character of Draco Malfoy. And he wanted to prove that his father wasn't just Mr. Big Shot, this, that, and that he could do something and he could have a responsibility and do some things, even though it didn't. His true nature, that the fact that he's not as evil as his father, came out in the Half-Blood Prince. But I'm going to vote yes, because I really think this is one of the better student characters in the entire Harry Potter series of books. Up there with Harry and Hermione, in my opinion, is the 3 best student characters.
Yeah.
All right, Malcolm, it's all up to you.
Don't remind me, Hunter.
Well, we are reminding you. Sorry to do this to you, bud.
Draco is a good student for Harry. He does have a good arc, but for me, he's not. It's a no, just for the fact that he's not. He's like, once again, if it's a top 15, he probably would have made it. But there's 2 other characters that haven't come up yet that I'm hoping come up. So Cody, I'm hoping that you have one of the ones I'm thinking of.
Well, now I don't even know. I don't even know. I have 2. They go hand in hand. I love them in the books. They have way bigger characters. They're way bigger characters in the books than they ever get time in the movies. This is a difficult one. One's a male, one's a female. Both work for Hogwarts. Trying to get any leeway I possibly can to get somebody to tell me which one to nominate. Okay, I'm just going to go with
McGonagall. How did I know? How did I know?
I didn't say McGonagall. Thank you for ruining everything. But that's one of them. Yes. I'm going to go with Hagrid. If Molly makes the list because she's the mother to Harry, then the father, well, hello, is Hagrid. And Hagrid is a way better character. He's also a way better character in the books than he was in the movies. And that's saying something, because in the movies they do a really good job of portraying him. I just think he's more fleshed out. I think he's very entertaining. And he's just that. He is, I think, besides Dumbledore, he's literally the person that helped guide him in his journey. So I have to go with Hagrid, even though McGonagall was my second one.
I'm going to go next on this one. That is definitely one of the ones that I was thinking about. Hagrid is definitely one of the ones that have helped Harry on his journey the most. like all the times when he accidentally let slip things like it's like I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. It's like all the times that he accidentally just lets some information go to Harry is like he's just one of the ones that you just wonder if he was like where Dumbledore's head's at where and what his journey was going to be is like. But yeah, Hunter, what do you say about Hagrid?
Oh, he made my list. I love Hagrid. It's a yes for me. Hagrid is just that lovable character that you can't hate. Like he's all around a great guy and a guy who really cares about Harry. From when Harry was a baby, now that he really cared about the Potter family.
And that Hagrid makes the list. Dan, what would you have said?
I would have said no because I wanted to see if I could have nominated somebody else. But I think Hagrid really had hit in the beginning of Sorcerer's Stone. I loved him. You're a wizard, Harry, and putting the tail on Dursley's son, and then the second one with the Aragog the spider, and all the stuff he did in the second one. But then later on, I just felt like the character kind of lost some luster as the series went on. In my opinion, I just didn't like the character as much. I love the portrayal by Robbie Coltrane in the movies. I would have said no because I wanted to see if I could have nominated somebody else, but I'm not upset that Hagrid got on the list.
And Brian, what would you have said?
I would have been on the same train as Dan. I would have said no as well.
You wanted to nominate the father to the Weasleys?
Father? Come on.
That would have been my next pick, honestly.
Of a rubber duck.
Anyway, Brian, what are some honourable mentions that you would have said?
Oh, honorable mentions. I would have definitely put Father Weasley. I would have said Ron. I would have said Ron Weasley as well. In my honorable mention. But I would have also thrown in another like under the radar pick here. I would have put in. The thing is that I wanted to put in what from Order of the Phoenix. What was her name? Dolores Umbridge.
Oh yeah.
I would have put Dolores Umbridge. I had her as my like underrated pick. So those are some honorable mentions.
Hell no.
Cody, do you have any honorable mentions there?
I think this list was getting to the point. I think we could have made a case for Ron, of course. Lucius Malfoy was better than Draco, so I think that would have been a easier choice on those. Yeah, I think we have a pretty strong list. But yeah, there's some characters. I erased my list. I had more, but we'll just go with that.
Any honorable mentions there, Dan?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did. I had Luna Lovegood, and I had Gilroy Lockhart as two honorable mentions. My top six made the list, so I was pretty happy. The six that I most wanted to make the list all made the list, so I was pretty happy with that. But Gilroy Lockhart, he's I loved Kenneth Branagh in that one movie. He's in that one movie, and he was just off the wall, kooky and weird and different. I loved him. And then, of course, Luna Lovegood is another kooky, weird, off-the-wall character that I would have liked to have seen made the list. But, you can't have everything. So I got my top 6 on the list, so I was happy.
Yeah.
I would have given you, if we did movies, like Kenneth Branagh's character would have absolutely, because he is one of my favorite parts of the movies.
Yeah.
Breccio Reparo.
Yeah, and I mean, even in the books, Lockhart had a bit more to do with the Order of the Phoenix scene as well. So, Hunter, any honorable mentions there?
I legit only had one. Like 10 out of 12 made the list for me, so I'm kind of I'm happy with this list. But the only one I had was Cedric Diggory because I love the character in the books and the movie. But that was
Barney Crouch. Barney Crouch should have made the list, and we all screwed up because we put Mad Eye, but we all mean Barney Crouch Jr.
Barney Crouch Jr. as Mad Eye Moody should have made the list.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I definitely had Ron there because but the reason I didn't bring him up earlier was more of the case of in the books. I think his arc kind of started a little bit too late because in Deathly Hallows there was probably about then where his story kind of really coming together. Like
he's the lovable loser.
Yeah, like especially when he like stopped Harry to go in the wedding is like, look, we promised you that we're going to go with you. We're going with you no matter what. You're not. There's no way you're going to stop us from helping you. It's like, and I mean, for me, I also had like Fred and George there. Was I mean, and yeah, like, and I even had Bull Weasley there because he was way better in the books than he was than he actually was in the one movie he did appear in. So yeah.
The Fred and George is another one. When the death happens, it's felt, but it's felt way more in the books. That's one of those things.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, remind me who it was who had died in Deathly Hallows. Was it Fred or George?
It
I think
was.
it was Fred.
Yeah, I think it was Fred because George was holy.
Okay. Right.
That's what I remember. Is George had one of his ears blown off and made the joke about holy, and then his Fred's remark was, "That's the best you could come up with. That you're holy is." So,
Gotcha.
but now we're into the actual ranking stage. Now, just a reminder: the characters that we've got that made the 12 was Harry Potter, Hermione, Mad-Eye Moody, Dumbledore, Snape, Hagrid, Neville, Voldemort, Sirius, Lupin, Molly, and Bellatrix. And now we write down who we want as number 12.
Oh, this one's easy.
Yeah.
It should be.
Who we want as number 12? Jesus. All right.
We'll see if there's still humanity in this group or not.
All right, Brian, who do you have at 12?
Hagrid.
Oh my gosh.
Cody, who do you have at number 12?
Who invited him? Molly. Hands down.
Dan, who do you have at number 12?
Neville Longbottom.
Hunter, who do you have at number 12?
Molly.
Thank you.
And I mean, I actually put Moody at 12, but
Molly is number 12. Okay.
Molly is 12. Yep.
Okay. No problem.
Now we vote on number 11. I'll go to the reverse order. I'm stuck with Moody for number 11. Hunter, who do you have?
I have Moody also.
Dan?
Neville.
Cody?
Barney Crouch Jr. as Moody should have been. He would have been higher, But he wasn't actually Barney Crouch, so Moody.
And Brian, who do you have at 11?
I would have stuck with Hagrid.
So disrespectful.
So
Moody is 11. Now we're going for 10.
Number 10. Number 10.
Yeah. I'm okay with this one.
Okay, I'm
going to start with Brian. Brian, is it the same?
Same. Hagrid.
Wow.
Cody?
Neville Longbottom.
Dan?
Neville.
Hunter?
I had Bellatrix, but Neville's going to be 10.
Yeah, because that's who I voted for too.
Dang it. At least he didn't get eliminated out of the top 12.
Oh, time.
Sorry, buddy.
Primary 6.
If he would have used that sword through maybe 4, we would have had a better shot. But he decided to pick it up at the last bit.
Yeah.
If he was the chosen one, maybe that would have been different.
There's a book that that talks about what if like Neville was the chosen one instead of Harry.
It could have technically meant either one, but that's what a lot of people debate. But it was Harry, so JK hates Neville.
Yeah. I'm going to lead this off. I've got Bellatrix at 9. Hunter?
I went with a long shot. I said Harry.
Dan?
I went with Brian Hagrid.
Yes. Yes.
And Cody, who do you have?
Come on.
Harry Potter. Thank you, Harry Potter.
Oh.
Well, it's yeah.
Think of the beard, man. Think of the beard.
That means it's up to Malcolm.
Respect the beard, Brian. Respect the beard.
Malcolm, you're gonna break the tie because you're the only one that.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to build suspense.
Come on.
I swear.
Crazy.
We're going to be team partners here soon. Let's go.
I'm going to go with Harry.
What?
Oh.
Over Hagrid? Over Hagrid? Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean,
Controversy.
No.
It's for the reason that Cody and you guys brought up earlier. Like Harry wouldn't really be anything without everyone else helping him, really. So that's why I put him lower than Hagrid. So it's not because I don't like him. It's more, yeah.
Yeah, and
I respect it.
I did say that Harry Potter is in like the lower tier top 10 for me.
Yeah.
So I can respect that too.
I'll make the other people happy on this one.
Need I say anything else for my number 8?
He's climbing on your list every time.
Come on, let it be the right.
Okay, you're just starting. Let Malcolm lead his show. Jeez.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure Brian is going for the same. Cody, who are you going with?
Hagrid.
I think Dan's the same.
Yep. Dan is the same.
Hunter.
Yep, I had Hagrid also.
Yay!
I actually had Lupin, but it doesn't matter. Hagrid is 8.
Oh.
Hmm.
Thanks for changing my mind. I forgot about that.
Ching. What about a bing bang?
Oh, that's actually a good one. Good job.
Okay. Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, I'm going to lead this off because I didn't change it. Lupin. Hunter, who do you have?
Lupin gets higher. I said Bellatrix.
Dan, who do you have?
Bellatrix.
Cody?
I put Lupin. They're hand in hand for me, Bellatrix or Lupin. So I'm okay with it.
Brian?
Lupin.
Oh! Oh!
Lupin.
Lupin is 7.
Yep.
Oh man.
Sorry, buddy. Neville and Lupin gone. Oh, heartbreaking.
I know, right?
Damn. Right.
I know that one.
Oh, this is gonna.
Oh, this is getting easier for me.
Oh yeah.
Man, this one's gonna be. This one's gonna. Well,
I
by the
think
time that
top
we get
three
to,
is, I think top 4 is going to be difficult, but other than that,
yeah,
Yeah.
that I was about to say that top 4 is gonna be really difficult.
but everything else is so easy.
I'm going to lead this off. I've got Bellatrix Hunter,
I have Bellatrix.
and Dan's got Bellatrix. I saw Cody,
I killed Sirius Black. That was it.
and Brian. Who do you have?
I killed Sirius Black. I killed
First time
I already used that.
we're all unanimous on Bellatrix.
Yep.
5.
Oh, Jesus Christ! This one's gonna be.
And
Oh no!
just
this
to
is easy.
remind people who have got left, we've got Snape, Voldemort, Dumbledore, Hermione, and Sirius.
Oh
With
shit!
that, this is easy.
Mm.
Go Red Sox! Yes.
What's the score, by the way, for the game?
It's still 0-0, but they had a runner on third and we got it out, so works. Oh, okay.
Shit! Right.
Um,
I hate to do this.
so Brian, who do you have?
I hate to do this, but Hermione.
Cody,
Hermione.
Dan,
Voldemort.
Hunter,
Stop saying his name. Gosh.
I also have Voldemort.
Okay.
and I've got Hermione.
Okay.
Dang.
Ooh.
So I said the top 4 is where it's gonna get.
Yeah, this is good. This is gonna be shit. Ah,
Honestly, if you put it in the terms of Harry Potter, like influences, you're ruining the game, Dan. Dang.
I haven't changed.
But if you think about the characters left that have that impact Harry the most, it makes sense why these guys are at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to start this off. I've actually got Voldemort. Hunter, who do you have?
Voldemort.
Dan's got Voldemort. Cody
He who should not be named. Voldemort.
and Brian.
I said serious. I said serious.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Oh, you're punny.
Killing it.
Punny. Oh my god.
Put this into book terms, everyone. Put this into book terms.
This isn't gonna change. My pick isn't gonna change at all.
We don't have much more to change, so.
So Brian's got Sirius again. Cody, who do you have?
Yep.
Dumbledore.
Dan,
Even though I
Hunter.
nominated.
Wow.
Dumbledore.
Come on,
Thank
now.
you.
Come on, Malcolm.
and I've got Sirius.
You all need to reread books. My
Yeah.
gosh.
Dumbledore's
Sirius's relationship is way more impactful in the short movies he's in books than Dumbledore's entire. You're so wrong. It impacts him the entire rest of the way. Wrong.
You're crazy.
No, no. So is this for number 1?
Yeah, correct for number 1.
Oh well, this was clear when the
Yeah.
whole thing started.
Yeah.
If you don't, then I don't know what book you read. The
But
ones off Craigslist or something.
yeah, I'm going to start this off. Snape, Hunter,
Snape.
Dan,
Severus Snape.
Cody,
Snape. Severus Snape.
Brian,
I was about to do the same thing. Snape. Severus Snape.
Dumbledore number 2. Dumbledore number 2.
Dumbledore.
Still don't make, no, Sirius Black should be number 2, but it's okay. No
Yeah.
problem.
Oh my
but
god.
for me, Dumbledore is second.
Yep.
And
Cool with that. Again, I'm fine. That's totally cool.
It's
and
over,
Snape is
Cody.
third.
It's all over. It's over.
But
I was there with you, Cody. Freaking black.
I mean, I get it. I totally understand why everybody's viewpoint. I
Yeah.
just it's kind of like how I describe it, like the emotional of Sirius in the short time he was in the books is just so impactful. But I get it. I totally get the linchpin throughout the whole thing, so it makes sense.
yeah, I mean, for me, the hardest was between Dumbledore and Sirius for 3 because they're both kind of equal in the books.
Yeah, it can be flipped. You're good.
But
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. That's
another list done, and our top 12 Harry Potter characters is.
Am I behind, Dan? Sorry.
It must be because something big just happened.
Okay.
Yeah, so at number 12, we've got Mrs. Weasley. At 11, we've got Mad-Eye Moody. At 10, we've got Neville Longbottom. At 9, we've got Harry Potter. At 8, we've got Hagrid. At 7, we've got Lupin. At 6, we've got Bellatrix. At 5, we've got Hermione. At 4, we've got Voldemort. At 3, we've got Sirius Black. At 2, we've got Dumbledore. And at number 1, we've got Severus Snape. And all in all, that I mean, I can't be too unhappy with that list, really, because, like as I said, narrowing all the characters in that belt into just 12 was always going to be hard, and it's just one of those ones that there's always going to be some big characters left off. But yeah, and I know that from the Take 3 chat, I know that at least Kristen's probably going to be happy that because Snape was the one that she was going to fight for to be number 1, and she wouldn't have to fight too much for it. So apparently, but yeah, Brian, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter. It is at Damn You Brian. Instagram Brian Fernandez 611. You guys can find me here on the Take 3 and anywhere where trivia is. You guys can find me there, and beware because the strangers are coming into town, and it's gonna end in the team league. So be prepared for that.
Oh yes, we are.
And Cody, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Facebook at Cody Newberry. You can find me on now. I can say it now. Full Metal. I'm now an admin over on Full Metal and going to start taking on a little bit of a role over there. Woo! And you can find me on Movie Battleground as well. I've kind of taken a role over there too, so I'm on both places. Also, Malcolm, I pay very good money when you do the acting of Harry Potter or the Wizarding World. I will pay very handsomely and to compliment your beard the entire time. So just remember that.
Yeah. Flattery will get you nowhere, but maybe it will. Dan, where can people find you online?
You can find me at Dan Scapone on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest, or at From the Fourth Row. Also, if you like reading movie reviews or sports articles, you can read my sports articles and movie reviews at cinesportstalk.com. That's cinesportstalk.com, cinesportstalk.com. And I'll be fighting a pretty interesting match in the near future with my team partner, Eli McKegg, We're the Book of Eli, and we're in a little group called the King's Round Table.
Hunter, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me over at my YouTube channel at Film Nerd TV. You guys can find me and Cody, hopefully this Wednesday, shooting a match. We are the Killer Nerd Squad for the Fandom League over at Multiplex Entertainment. You can find me and Brian as the Strangers over at Worldwide Movie Games. And right here on Take 3. I'm here almost all the time whenever I can be.
And and for me, you can find me on Take 3 Productions, hosting Rankum and appearing on the Summit all over the place. There will be a new poll up shortly after I finish recording this. So vote on that, and I'll announce what the topic will be tomorrow for next week. You can also find me competing in trivia all over the place, whether it's in multiplex or worldwide movie games. You can find me there. You can I write questions for the Schmodown Trivia Schmodown. The first one's up on the Collider podcast now, but between Linus and Abe. And next week we've got the Fatal Four-Way between Matt, T.M. Smith, Evan,
Albert.
and that on August the 16th, and then on August 23rd we've got Frank versus Chris Skalicki on the Collide Podcast Network. So they're all a lot of great matches, and it'll be fun to see them all happen. And until next week, be sure to tune in where we'll rank them.